The Australian Institute of Physics, the Teachers Guild of New South Wales, the Royal Society of New South Wales and the Royal Australian Chemical Institute acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet here this evening at the Concord Golf Club, the Wungal people, and pay my respects to the elders past, present and emerging. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dr. Frederick Osman. As the President of the Teachers Guild of New South Wales and the Secretary of the New South Wales Australian Institute of Physics, I'm pleased to welcome you this evening at the Concord Golf Club for our 2024 Frontiers of Science Forum presented by the Australian Institute of Physics, the Teachers Guild of New South Wales, the Royal Society of New South Wales and the Royal Australian Chemical Institute, in support with Laboratories Credit Union. Tonight, we are very privileged to join by Mr. Mark Currie, MP, the Member for Oatley, Shadow Minister for Multiculturalism, Shadow Minister for Jobs, Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology, and Shadow Minister for the South Western Sydney, along with Professor John Maddock, Dr. Renee Gorman, Professor Katrina Jolliffe, and Associate Professor Richard Garner as our speakers at this year's combined Frontiers of Science Forum. I would also like to thank Mr. Ian Wolfe from Diffusion Radio, who will be involved with our panel discussion later this evening on exploring major discoveries and theories of physics, mathematics, biology and chemistry. The format schedule of this evening will be our presenters to speak for 25 minutes, each on their chosen Frontiers of Science topics. And this will conclude by a panel discussion and a Q&A at the end. So please hold those questions to the panel sessions. We are also videoing this event so we can make it available for everyone that could not attend tonight, especially our regional areas. It gives me great pleasure to introduce Mr. Mark Currie, MP, the Member for Oatley, Shadow Minister for Multiculturalism, Shadow Minister for Jobs, Industry, Innovation, Science, Technology, and Shadow Minister for South Western Sydney for being here tonight. Mr. Mark Currie has been a member for Oatley since 2011. Mark lives in Penthurst with his wife, Adler, as a school teacher, and their two sons, James and Sam. Mark now has the honour of serving the Shadow Minister for Multiculturalism, Shadow Minister for Jobs, Industry, Innovation, Science, Technology and the Shadow Minister for South Western Sydney, under the leadership of the New South Wales Opposition Leader, the Honourable Mark Speakman, SC MP. With his current portfolios, his passion in supporting promoting multiculturalism, he's got a great support for science technology, and we are very privileged for him to be here today. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Mark Currie.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's a great honour to be here today, and I want to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the lands in which we meet today and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. Yes, Frederick, you're absolutely right. I did marry a teacher and I married up in the world. And a wonderful teacher she is. And I do have two young boys, as I call them, Hurricane and Tsunami. But they've got a love for science. And I remember as I was driving in, I was reflecting my passion and love for science began at a very young age. And I remember one of my very first chemical it was a chemistry test kit and Bunsen burner. And after almost burning the house down when the Bunsen burner fell on the tablecloth, it was just a chemical test kit. But I remember that passion for science, and it's something that I have passed on to that next generation, to my kids, particularly James, who is celebrating his 10th birthday tonight. But don't worry, I'll be there in a sec to celebrate his birthday. But it's that passion for science that we've got to, follow through with as teachers, as parents, as, that generation, so that the next generation can continue that passion. So it is wonderful to be here today, this evening. Innovation, science, technology is the engine room that drives positive change. Change in industries and transforms the way in which we live. And they are the driving force behind economic growth and prosperity. And in the 21st century, it's something that government needs to be backing. And during our time in government, or my time in government, we had a state election last year. We had a strong record of supporting the innovation, the science and technology in our state, in our great state. And so much so, New South Wales saw over a 300% increase in innovators between 2013 and 2022. We introduced an R&D roadmap setting out a 20-year vision for New South Wales to produce more world-leading new technologies, products and services. And we backed it in with funding. We saw over $700 million, a future economic fund, delivering the state's first fund aimed at a full life cycle of innovation, of high growth business in a number of different priority sectors, and drive productivity at the same time in emerging high value industries such as digital technology, such as medical technology, such as the clean economy, of course. And we also invested over $270 million in biomedical technology, attracting world-leading researchers, scientists, clinicians to our medical precincts, and delivering those breakthroughs that create a brighter future for people everywhere, not just in New South Wales, but around the globe. And under the current government, we hope that these investments will continue, particularly as industries across innovation, science and technology face many different challenges. And as you know, major discoveries, theories in physics and mathematics, biology, chemistry, have shaped and continue to grow at an enormous rate. Because this financial investment here in this industry, or industries I should say, needs to be targeted. So grant programs cannot afford to take 6 to 8 months to distribute funds to researchers, and delays can be critical in this space. Additionally, I have to say, department and bureaucratic structures and hierarchies hinder the flow of innovation thinking and slow down that implementation of groundbreaking concepts. This is why forums like tonight are so important. Collaboration is such an important key. Hearing from a range of experts, international experts here tonight, on the latest and the future development in their fields offers insights as well as inspiration for the kind of research that can and is certainly being undertaken here in New South Wales. And it also shows where we're heading in the future of mathematics, in physics, in chemistry and biology as well. I must say New South Wales has been and needs to remain that driving force of innovation, science and technology. Because when New South Wales is at the forefront of innovation, science and technology, Australia becomes a leading nation globally. And certainly as the Shadow Minister for Industry, Innovation, Science and Technology, and I hope one day to be Minister again, I've heard from a range of key stakeholders over the last 12 months on what are some of the important issues affecting them, affecting their research, and affecting these key industries. So there are 5 themes that many issues have been brought to my attention appear to fall under. And these have since become 5 key areas that I'm quite passionate about, in which, as a shadow minister, I've been advocating, whilst we're in opposition, advocating for the government to implement. And some of these are, for example, 1, continued investment in innovation, continued investment in science, continued investment in technology. And whilst government regularly provides funding to help startups and companies establish themselves in New South Wales, there now needs to be sustained support to ensure that the work being undertaken by these companies here in New South Wales can continue to grow and to expand here in New South Wales. And this doesn't only mean, I should say, making additional financial investments, while it helps. It also includes how we can introduce or amend government policy across government to make it easier for research and development to take place. All types of research and all types of development to take place. The second point is focusing on those new and emerging industries here in New South Wales. Last year I began hearing that the key space and defence stakeholders are now starting to look away from cementing the space and defence industries in the Western Sydney or around the Western Sydney aerotropolis. And this is an example of what happens when different levels of government don't focus on those emerging markets or those emerging industries. Instead, we need to be supporting them at greater knots. Building up our emerging industries is more than just about economic benefits. They are building an ecosystem of jobs for the future of young kids, my hurricane and tsunami. New South Wales can't just be a service economy. And to be an economic powerhouse for the future, for your kids, your grandchildren, for my kids, New South Wales needs a strong base grounded in innovation, grounded in science and those technology sectors. The third point that I've come across is, of course, building a pipeline of apprenticeships and trades. And as an emerging issue that I've been hearing from stakeholders in a number of different sectors over the months, particularly for innovators, is that there is a difficulty in recruiting people into jobs across the innovation, across the science and technology sectors. And to deliver this or to combat this, government needs to work closely with stakeholders and investigate how we can combine micro-skilling with the current and future courses offered to ensure the future workforce into the future is well equipped across all levels of government. The fourth, of course, is investing in tech and startup precincts. And this is exciting stuff, and I have visited a number of them over the last few years. Collaboration is really the key. And when it comes to tech and startup precincts across New South Wales, or across Sydney at least, but definitely across New South Wales, that collaboration is so important. And even with technology allowing people to connect remotely, in-person research, collaboration is still what drives the advancements in our key industries. So government needs to be looking at ways, new and improved ways, and how we can continue to support precincts like Macquarie Park, the future Tech Central, the Western Sydney aerotropolis, which will be a complete game changer for not just Sydney, but for New South Wales and, of course, across Australia, to ensure that places for innovators to collaborate are created. And, of course, the fifth is supporting STEM in the education system. This connects with point 3 regarding the pipeline for the training, the pipeline for the apprenticeships. And I'm sure this will be spoken about by many of you here tonight. In order for us to encourage the next generation to be part of the workforce in innovation, science and technology fields, it is essential that our kids build an interest in science and technology. And this, ladies and gentlemen, starts at school. So, unfortunately, whilst the former government was seeking to make mathematics compulsory in 11 and 12, perhaps even science, the current government have announced recently that they will not be pursuing this. And I have to say personally, this is quite disappointing. I will continue to be advocating for mathematics at the very minimum, but also some sciences as well, to be compulsory across 11 and 12. Students need the academic foundations and the critical thinking to thrive in that competitive, globalised workforce. Whether it's for everyday problem solving or preparing for the future jobs in space, technology, science, engineering, STEM is so important. It is so valuable, for students, and governments need to better recognise and support this. Our state cannot attract the investment, the the support industry, and increase and protect local jobs without investment in engineering, without investment in science and technology education. And I hope all of you are looking forward to the presentations that you hear tonight. This research demonstrates the breadth of where career across science and technology can take someone, and the benefits this research will bring to improve people's lives and creating a better future for everyone in our great state and country. As educators, whether at a high school or a university level, the work you do to foster a culture of interest in technology is truly important. And I'd like to thank all of you for the work that you do across the many fields in this space. Finally, thank you again for having me tonight. As I said before, it's not just an interest, it's a passion of mine. And I hope to meet many of you into the future and to the many other science forums and science expos that pop up from time to time, and certainly to hear your thoughts and suggestions on what we can do to progress the areas of science, technology and innovation into the future. Thank you very much.